My dear friends, there comes a time in each of our lives when we are confronted with the stark reality of our own brokenness. Perhaps you, like many others, have looked upon your life and seen the cracks and flaws, but I urge you to look deeper, beyond the surface of your own shortcomings. There is a profound truth that I hope will take root in your heart. God uses broken people. Those moments of failure, the missed opportunities, the words spoken in haste or anger. It is easy to believe that these imperfections render us unworthy, that our value has been diminished by the very faults we so desperately wish to erase. The world often tells us that value lies in perfection. We are conditioned to admire the flawless, to pursue lives unmarked by error or weakness. We are drawn to the smooth, unblemished surfaces, whether in material goods or in the people around us. Yet this pursuit of perfection can lead us to a place of despair, for no human life is without its cracks, no heart is immune to breaking. Consider for a moment the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is mended using lacquer mixed with powdered gold. The philosophy behind this practice is not to hide the imperfections, but to highlight them, making the repaired object even more beautiful than it was before it was broken. The cracks, once seen as flaws, become the most precious part of the vessel, filled with shimmering gold that reflects the light and tells a story of restoration. This art of kintsugi provides a striking parallel to how God works in our lives. He does not simply discard us when we are broken, nor does he hide our flaws. Instead, he repairs and restores us in a way that reveals his glory through our very imperfections. It is through our brokenness that his grace shines most brightly, turning what was once a source of shame into a testimony of his transformative power. The scriptures are replete with examples of individuals who were deeply flawed, yet whom God used in remarkable ways. Take, for instance, the story of Moses. Here was a man who doubted his own ability to speak, who fled from his past, and who questioned God's call on his life. Yet God chose Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, to be a deliverer and a lawgiver. Moses was not chosen because he was perfect. He was chosen because God saw beyond his brokenness to the potential within. Through Moses, God accomplished his purposes, not despite his flaws, but through them. Then there is David, the shepherd boy who became king. David was a man after God's own heart, yet his life was marked by significant moral failures. He committed adultery with Bathsheba and orchestrated the death of her husband, Uriah. These are not the actions of a perfect man, yet God used David in a mighty way. From David's lineage came the Savior of the world, Jesus Christ. Even in his brokenness, David was part of God's grand design, and his Psalms, many of which were born out of his deepest struggles, continue to comfort and inspire countless souls to this day. Let us not forget Peter, the disciple who walked so closely with Jesus. Peter was zealous, bold, and full of passion, yet in the crucial moment, he denied knowing Christ 3 times. This failure could have easily defined Peter's life, but instead it became the foundation for his greatest triumph. After Jesus' resurrection, Peter was restored, forgiven, and commissioned to feed Christ's sheep. He became a pillar of the early church, a leader whose strength came not from his own perfection, but from the grace he had received in the midst of his weakness. These stories, and many others like them, remind us that God's economy is different from ours. He does not choose the perfect, he perfects the chosen. God is in the business of using the unlikely, the broken, and the flawed to accomplish his will. It is precisely in our weakness that his strength is made perfect. In our modern world, we are often bombarded with messages of self-sufficiency and the pursuit of an idealized image of success. We are encouraged to hide our flaws, to present a polished exterior, and to strive for a standard of perfection that is both unattainable and ultimately hollow. But in doing so, we miss the deeper truth that it is in our brokenness that we find our true identity and purpose. When we try to hide our flaws, we deny the opportunity for God's grace to work in our lives. We place ourselves in a prison of our own making, a prison where the walls are built from the fear of being seen for who we truly are, imperfect, flawed, and in need of a Savior. But when we bring our brokenness to God, we find that He does not reject us. Instead, He welcomes us with open arms, ready to heal, restore, and use us in ways we could never have imagined. It is important to understand that being used by God does not mean that our brokenness is eradicated or that we are suddenly made perfect in this life. Rather, it means that our brokenness becomes a part of our story, a part of our testimony to the goodness and mercy of God. Our scars, both seen and unseen, become a testament to His healing power. They are reminders that we have been through the fire and yet we are still standing. More than that, we are being used for a purpose greater than ourselves. The Apostle Paul speaks to this truth in his second letter to the Corinthians, where he writes, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us." 2 Corinthians 4:7. Paul understood that we are like fragile earthen vessels, prone to cracking under the pressures of life. Yet it is within these very vessels that the treasure of the gospel is held. The cracks do not diminish the value of the treasure, they reveal the power of God at work within us. So, my dear friend, do not be disheartened by your failures or your past. Remember that some of the greatest figures in history were deeply flawed individuals. Moses, who doubted his ability to lead. David, who fell into grievous sin. Peter, who denied Christ in his hour of need. Yet God used each of them mightily, not despite their brokenness, but through it. In your moments of doubt, when the weight of your imperfections seems too heavy to bear, I encourage you to trust in the one who guards your life like a lion from the enemy of despair. Allow His strength to be your strength as He turns your pain into purpose. You are not beyond redemption, and your life is not beyond repair. The cracks and flaws that you see in yourself are not marks of shame, but rather the places where God's grace can shine through most clearly. Embrace your brokenness and offer it to Him, knowing that He is the bridge that can lead you to wholeness and become a testament to the transformative power of His love. Take heart, dear friend, for you are a work in progress, and the Master Potter is still shaping you. God does not abandon those who are broken, so if you carry flaws and scars, even ones hidden from others, know this: there is no part of your life that is beyond His power to restore and make new again. As always, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more content for the soul. Take care, and God bless.